Hey everyone, it's Clara. How you doing? You alright? So a few days late with this. I was hoping to do a video on kind of reacting to trans TikToks or something like that, something kind of fun and also kind of bandwagony, but I haven't. So I've just been a bit under the weather the last few days with a migraine, so I didn't want to edit. So I'm just doing something. I'm just gonna talk. So yeah, and I'm gonna talk about platforms. And by platforms, I mean who should have a platform. What is a platform? Who shouldn't have a platform? Is having a platform a right? And I'm going to just say now that, you don't have a right to be on a platform. So I'm going to talk about that. Yeah, so feel free to like, subscribe, and all that. Bump and gubbins. But yeah, let's title page maybe. So free speech. I think everyone has the right to free speech. Everyone should be allowed to say things. But I think that where you share those views, that's the platform. And I don't think everyone should have access to the same platforms. I don't think everyone has a right to a wide platform. There are an awful lot of people who go online and talk about stuff that they have no experience in, no lived experience, no life experience, haven't really necessarily looked into it. And they'll talk like an expert. Why? We shouldn't have comedians or comedy writers or fantasy authors speaking as a medical authority on, say, transgender issues. Now, they can talk about writing, and they can talk about this, and they can talk about that, and they can talk about their own experience as a person. Yeah, sure. But if they're sharing views that are contrary to the medical profession and the general accepted way to treat people with dignity and stuff like that, then no, you shouldn't have a platform. So give them a platform to talk about their writing, but don't give them a platform to talk about how they believe that we're treating trans people wrong. How trans people shouldn't have rights and stuff like that. And yes, you are free to speak about that, and you're free to talk about other people to talk about those views with other people. Sure, yeah, but you don't have to have a platform for that. It should be relegated. If you're not an expert and you don't really know what you're talking about, and you're going against expert advice or people with lived experience, no, you shouldn't have a platform. You shouldn't be given a platform. Now you can make your own little platform, of course, because there's Twitter and there's YouTube. I've created my own little platform here, right? And that's fine. Like, everyone's able to create their own little platform, but we shouldn't be giving them our platform. So it comes into this idea of deplatforming, right? I'm at Oxford University, and we want to bring in speakers who are knowledgeable, that know what they're talking about. We want people who, get it, that they know what they're talking about. And I'm not going to say that that's always going to be academic. Sometimes it'll be lived experience. Sometimes it'll be, we want to hear about, a campaigner, and we want to hear their experiences. Because apart from anything else, it's really important. Say here in Oxford, we shouldn't just be listening to people who have an academic background in topics, because, like I say, academic and the real world can be quite far apart, and so we need. I think it's important to be able to bring in people from different backgrounds who haven't looked at things from a technical academic point of view, that have just lived life and seen things and been involved in things. But we don't have to bring people in just to talk about things that they're not an expert in, that they don't have that life experience. That's not very academic. If we did that, I think we're failing in terms of academic integrity. If we're bringing people or asking people to just talk about stuff that they really have no business in, and just because they have a contrary view, no, they shouldn't have that platform. We shouldn't be giving them our platform. And yeah, sometimes we invite people in, and then problems with that person and problematic thoughts and problematic views and etc. are brought up. And so sometimes the organizers are like, you know what, actually we didn't realize this person had such a different view to us, and we don't like these views, and we don't want to enable them to share these views, and so they'll rescind that invitation. And I don't think that's wrong. That's not taking away that person's free speech, because that person can still talk, they can still say what they want. What we're doing is not giving them our platform to share those views from. Because if you give someone a platform, you're basically saying that you think their ideas have merit, that you think their viewpoints have merit. Now, do we remove someone from a platform? So say we want to invite an author and they talk about writing, and we realize that they're going to start talking about other stuff. That's a bit more grey area, I don't really know. I wouldn't. See, here's the thing: we give people a platform. There's different platforms, right? We give them a chance. We give them a platform where they can just talk, and at that point, that's not that's not a debate, that's not a discussion. There's no accountability for what they're saying. They're just speaking as an expert. And if they're just speaking as an expert, and chances are the people that are there like them, agree with them, are on their side, whatever, because it takes a lot to go into a talk of someone that has contrary views and stand up and say, you're wrong, I disagree with you on this, this and this, and this is why, and because of this, this and this. So what you're doing is you're giving people a chance to preach their views, and even though you might have brought them in to talk about their writing, say, what if they start talking about, anti-vaxxers? What if we bring in someone and they start, and they're there to talk about, writing, and they start talking about how we shouldn't vaccinate anyone and no one should have vaccines? And we've seen the rise in, anti-vaxxers. There's rises. There's children getting diseases that we'd eradicated in certain countries. And so if you know that, if you're going to invite someone in to talk about something and you got a damn good idea that they're going to talk about their conspiracy theories, basically, then we got to rethink whether we want that person in there, because, like I say, then they're not using the platform that you've let them have as you intended. And I think that's a bit of an abuse of that platform. And like I say, it's your platform. They don't have a right to your platform. They can make their own platform, as we've seen. So yeah, no, I mean I don't know. And like I say, the platforms are different to free speech. Free speech is people saying stuff, and platforms is where you allow them to speak. Did I already talk about this? But I don't know. Like you could invite me on to talk about vaccines, say, right? And I could have an intellectual, I can read up and I can have an understanding, but you shouldn't be bringing me to talk about vaccines. You should be bringing an expert, someone in medical science, to talk about vaccines, right? I'm not the person to invite along. I'm not the, get me in to talk about the stuff I know about. I mean, heck, if you want to talk solely about the experiences of a non-binary person, a trans man, or a non-binary person, or an agender person, that's not me. I can explain the terminology, and I do LGBTI plus awareness, and I can say this is what a trans man is, this is what a non-binary person is, this is what an agender person is. But if you want that experience from your speaker, then I'm the wrong person. Don't invite me to talk about those gender identities which I don't identify with, right? If you want to know what it's like to be gay, well, I don't, I mean, I'm not the person to invite. If you want to learn what it means to be gay and other LGBTI plus terms, yes, I can speak from, I can speak knowledgeably. I do that. But if you want the experiences or what it means to a person to have those experiences, then I'm the wrong person. And just saying that we invite people along to have balance, look, we could so say there was a panel and I was talking about fusion energy, and you had someone who believed heavily in fossil fuels. So if we were talking about fusion energy, and we were talking just about fusion energy, and we brought in people that had a vested interest and said, no, this is the wrong way, this is what we should be doing, then that's the wrong platform. If we're having a discussion about what the future of energy should be, then yes, you need to have those different voices. So maybe someone who is, a fan of fracking, but a fan of fracking, or a fan of coal oil and fusion and nuclear. But if you're having a discussion about fusion energy, then don't invite the people that are into their fossil fuels, because that's the wrong platform. It doesn't make sense to do that. And if you've got an outlier fringe group who believe in something that is against all the current medical knowledge and background, then why would you invite them along to a panel to talk about, being trans, being gay, being race? Why would we be inviting along people who, don't believe in that there's a problem with race equality? We've got a problem with race equality, we know that. So you're not going to balance the argument by bringing in someone who disagrees with that. That's ridiculous, especially if it's a panel talking about how do we improve things for people of different races. Why are we bringing people in with contrary opinions? That's not balance to the debate. That's the wrong platform to give them. That's the wrong place to be putting them. We're not giving balance to the debate. We're throwing it off because you're bringing in small, obscure viewpoints, maybe in some cases, or just the wrong opposite viewpoint. You wouldn't invite a flat earther to an astronomy event where you're actually talking about the planets, and it's like, oh, and then here's this flat earther. The wrong platform. That makes sense. And that's not, and having a flat earther along, that sort of thing isn't balance. It's the wrong platform. So, like I say, not everyone has the right to your platform, and they don't have a right to all platforms. You can create your own platform. You're allowed to speak, and you've got the right to create your platform, but you don't have a right to be in my platform, in my space. You don't have to invite people to your platform, because if you do, it means that you think they've got something of merit to say. And if you inviting them along just to balance the buck when you think that they don't have something to say, then you're wrong. Like I say, the one with energy, well, yeah, if we want to talk about the future of energy, then it makes sense to have those things. But coal and gas, then they're not small stakeholders, right? They are big stakeholders. That makes sense. Someone who's using, I don't know, bicycles to create someone who's using hamster wheels to create electricity, that wouldn't have that wouldn't be sensible to include that in that debate. But like I say, the big players make sense. So just be intelligent, because otherwise you're losing the academic integrity of your platform. You're including people who have no good reason to be there. You're losing the academic integrity of your platform. You are not improving it by trying to balance or do a fair view of all thoughts. That's not right. And like I say, you're just watering down the worth of your platform. And so we've got to do that at Oxford. We've got to vet who we bring in and who talks, because otherwise our standards have gone. So yeah, that's my view on platforms. That's a lot in it. I'm sure there'll be some people that disagree with that. In fact, there's lots of people that disagree with it. But hey, that's my opinions using my platform, and I'm right. So yeah, so thanks for watching anyway. If you like my ranting, I've got plenty of them, so I try and put one out at the beginning of the week, or some sort of discussion on sort of equality and everything, and it'd be nice to start sort of bringing in friends to talk about. And then also I've got my science videos as well, on my science chats. Got one of them coming out in a few days, so that's with Dr. Clara Nellis. Until next time, take care, see you soon, and thanks for listening, and don't forget to subscribe and like and all that malarkey. Bye.